These pigs aren't pink, ladies and gentlemen, so when they come out, I'd like to have a look. Note that difference. They're also not like the Berkshires that we had earlier that were a dark green colour and there's 6 points on the white. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently penning up the Duroc pigs to commence our Duroc classes. The class will be starting with, ladies and gentlemen, will be class 204, which will be our Duroc 4. 9 months and under 12 months. We don't have any senior boards here. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So here's our first Duroc ball here today. This is our junior ball. I encourage you to come in and have a seat. Now this pig, ladies and gentlemen, is quite different, as you may have noted. It's not the same colour as normal. This pig, ladies and gentlemen, is a Duroc. Now the Duroc originated in the USA, and the current Australian Duroc lines were imported in 1981 from Canada and New Zealand. Now the way you identify a Duroc pig, ladies and gentlemen, is by that orangey red colour and the fact that they have the floppy ears, and this are the breed characteristics. Now the reason people like Durocs is they're valued for their growth rate as well as their meat quality. Now Durocs are commonly used in crossbreeding programs as well as a terminal sire when crossed with a large rat or lamb race setup. So for those of you who have just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. I encourage you to take a seat as we commence the judging of our Duroc ball classes. We're starting with our junior ball classes today, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have any entries for our senior ball classes. And we have the Duroc breed categories, what we're now going to start working through. For those of you just joining us, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging our Duroc junior ball here now. Our judge today, ladies and gentlemen, is Miss Tracy. She has come all the way from the United Kingdom and is one of our very highly respected judges. So we're very lucky to have her today. So, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of Class 204 goes to entry number 57, Gisborne's free-range ball. We're now moving on to Class 205, which will be the junior ball, older than 7 months and under 9 months. And in this class, ladies and gentlemen, there will be 4 entries. For those of you just joining us, these are our Duroc junior balls. Our judge today, ladies and gentlemen, is Miss Tracy Bretherton. She's come all the way from the United Kingdom and is a highly regarded and highly respected member of the British Pig Association. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging our Duroc pigs. In the main arena, I encourage you to come and take a seat as much as our judging progresses. Now, what our judge is looking for today, ladies and gentlemen, is a couple of key factors, or key categories, you could say, They are judged assessing. Now, one of the main ones is the structural soundness of the animal. What I mean by structural soundness are the animal's legs and feet. So we're looking at how the animal moves around the arena, how they track. We're also looking at their front legs, ensuring they're straight and stable. We're looking at the rear legs to ensure that they have a correct angle and they've got the little curve, they're not completely straight and they're not too bowed. We also want to make sure that they have good, strong feet. That's for our legs and structure, ladies and gentlemen. The reason that's important is when these pigs go into production, we want to ensure that they're going to last a long time. They're not going to break down. So it's very important for them genetically to be built strong. The next thing, ladies and gentlemen, that she's looking for is the body type and conformation. What we're looking for is a long, deep body with a strong, level top line. And what I mean by top line is the line from the back or from the shoulder to the rump. So it's along their back. We want good loin depth and width. We're also looking for well-developed hams. So that's the hindquarters that are rounded and muscular. The shoulders should be smooth and well-rounded. We don't want them too open. And the overall balance and proportion of the pig. We want all of the parts of the pig to fit together very well. Because conformation directly relates to meat yield and quality, and a well-conformed pig produces more of the cuts that consumers desire, and that's why body conformation is so important. So for those of you who have just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, we're currently talking through some of the judging criteria here for our Duroc Junior boards. The class for those with the catalogue is 205. For those without Junior, this is the Junior Duroc board. Older than 7 months, however, under 9 months in age. Now, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, these pigs are very inquisitive. And they will come and bring you their defence. These pigs are known to have a similar cognitive ability to dogs. They also have a sense of smell which is said to be 2,000 times stronger than a human sense. And they'll explore their environment using their nose, so that's how they'll navigate around. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have just joined us, we're currently judging our Duroc boars, class 205 Duroc boars. So it's over 7 months and under 9 months in age. Now it's very important, ladies and gentlemen, that we continue to have shows such as this Easter show, the pig show here, because it provides a platform for the breeders to come together and share best practices, both in genetics and animal husbandry. There's some breeders that have come from a very long way away to be with us here today, ladies and gentlemen. We have some breeders here who come all the way from Western Australia and South Australia. Now, when pigs travel, due to our tight biosecurity laws in Australia, all of these pigs will be accompanied with a pig pass, a vendor declaration. And that allows for tracking so we know that where the pigs have come from, if there was to be a disease outbreak or something similar, we know exactly where these pigs are from. Another fun fact about pigs, ladies and gentlemen, is they do enjoy the odd belly scratch as well. So sometimes you will see them flop over. And the winner there for our class, ladies and gentlemen, was class 205, our Duroc boar, older than 7 months, under 9 months, is entry 61, exhibited by Young Sheep Hawk. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently working our way through our Duroc boards at present. Our next class will be class 206, so the Duroc boards that you'll see very soon, ladies and gentlemen, will be over 5 months and under 7 months. We have one entry for that category. Now, once this next class is decided, ladies and gentlemen, we will move on to our Duroc Junior Champion Board and Junior Reserve Champion Board. That's where the winners from the previous classes will compete, and will determine out of the balls which one is a better example of a Duroc junior ball. So for those of you just joining us, first of all, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging our Duroc junior ball classes. This is class 206 for over 5 months and 7 months. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, these pigs aren't the same colour as the other pigs in the shed. They have a deep red colour. Now the Durocs are also identified by their floppy ears, as you can see there. If you have a look around the shed, you'll see that this pigs here has both pointy ears as well as floppy ears. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you just joining us, first of all, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. I'd like to invite you to take a seat here in our grandstand as we continue with our pig judging here today. Okay, first place, ladies and gentlemen, has been awarded to exhibit number 62, Junior Cricketers Free Range Ball. Congratulations. That was for our Duroc Junior Ball, 5 months and under 7 months. We're now going to move on, ladies and gentlemen, to judge our Duroc Junior Champion Ball. So that's where this ball who just won first place, along with a handful of others who have won first place in their classes before this one, will now compete to determine which ball is of the highest quality. After our Duroc balls, ladies and gentlemen, we will move on to our junior Duroc sounds, who will also be competing. For those of you just joining us, first of all, welcome to the 2026 Sydney Royal Easter Show, and more importantly, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently watching the judging of our Duroc balls here. We're now judging the Duroc Junior Champion Ball. Now, as we did not have any senior entries, they'll also be the Duroc Champion Ball. There's some really good examples here, ladies and gentlemen, of the Duroc line. These are pigs that you probably don't see as often as some of the other pigs in commercial production, such as the Landrace, Large White, and the Birch. There are some other pretty rare breeds as well, ladies and gentlemen, in the shed here at the 2026 Royal Easter Show. So I encourage you at the conclusion of the judging today to walk around the shed and have a look at some of the other breeds. On the opposite wall of the main arena, there is a poster that does explain some of the different breeds that we've got here this year. So for those of you just joining us, first of all, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging for our Duroc Champion Ball and Reserve Junior Champion Ball. So for those of you who have just joined us, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging our Champion Duroc Ball. I encourage you to take a seat in the stands as we continue judging our Duroc balls. So we're currently judging, ladies and gentlemen, for our Duroc Champion Junior Ball. Our Junior Champion Ball will also be our Champion Duroc Ball, as we do not have any entries for the Senior. So all of our ballers in the ring at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, these are Durocs, and they were all winners of their respective classes before we moved on to the Champion class. Now we'll shortly be awarding the champion ribbons, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for those of you who have just joined us, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging our champion board. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So the winner of the Duroc champion board has now been awarded. Congratulations to exhibit number 62, Jury's Free Range Walk. So, ladies and gentlemen, currently in the arena being returned is our champion Duroc board, both of the senior and junior categories. We'll shortly be moving on to our Duroc Junior Sow. So junior sows will be quite small, obviously the same breed as the pig that's currently in the arena. Now these pigs are very intelligent, ladies and gentlemen, so it said that they've got the same cognitive ability as dogs, and therefore can solve complex problems, and they have excellent memories. So credit to our managers here today managing these pigs. Pigs are a lot harder to breed in comparison to cattle or other animals, as we can't use leads and halters. Some handlers use these boards to help redirect the animals and point them in the direction they're looking to send them. But the challenging part is they also need to present the piece in a way that the judge is able to assess the animal. So we're doing a very good job here today with our pigs. We're now about to send out our Duroc sows. They'll shortly be entering the arena. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So for those of you just joining us, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're now commencing the judging in the class 217. So these are our Duroc sows, ladies and gentlemen, older than 7 months and under 9 months. There's 2 entries for this class, ladies and gentlemen. It's both it's a junior class, so both juniors. So for those of you who have just joined us, we're currently judging our Duroc pigs here. We've got 2 entries for this class. And as you can see, if you've only just joined us, these pigs are not your normal pigs that are white and black in colour. These pigs are orange. Now sometimes they can be quite stubborn as well. We've got this one here that doesn't seem to want to join us in the arena. But that's okay, we'll assess her in the box there. You guys must be scary looking at her stage door. For those of you just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We've got our 2 Duroc sows currently competing in class 217. These are our Duroc sows, 7 months and under 9 months. So, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you just joining us, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging our Duroc Junior sows here in the arena. This is class 217, our Duroc sow. 7 months and under 9 months. We're now going to award the ribbons here, ladies and gentlemen, for this class. Class 217. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So first place goes to entry number 64, Jimboree's Free Range Ball. Second place goes to entry number 63, also exhibited by Jimboree's Free Range Ball. So ladies and gentlemen, for those of you just joining us, we have just judged class 217. We're now moving on to class 218. So the things that you'll see in a moment, ladies and gentlemen, will be a little bit smaller than these ones. Our Duroc sows, 5 months and under 7 months. I recommend you come and take a seat, as shortly we'll be judging our Duroc Junior Champion sow, and our Supreme exhibit in the Duroc breed category. So we're now moving on to class number 218, our Duroc sow, 5 months and under 7 months. We'll have one entry for that class. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion if you've just joined us. We're now commencing the judging of class 218, our Duroc sow, 5 months and under 7 months. We have one entry for this class who is now coming out into the arena. I invite you to sit down as we continue our Duroc judging here today. We have one more class after this, ladies and gentlemen, which will have another entry, and then we'll move on to our junior champion, and our supreme exhibit, Duroc. Now, the Duroc, ladies and gentlemen, was first imported into Australia in the 1980s, I believe. As you can see, they've got an orangey red colour, and they've got the floppy ears. For those of you just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, we're currently judging our Duroc Junior sow here. Over 5 months and under 7 months in age. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now awarding the ribbon for class 218, our Duroc sow. 5 months or older and under 7 months. Winner of the class, ladies and gentlemen, is our entry, number 65, exhibited by Gumshoe Pork. We're now moving on to class 219, ladies and gentlemen, our Duroc sow under 5 months. We have one entry for that class, ladies and gentlemen, and then all of these winners will be competing for the Duroc Junior Champion sow. For those of you just joining us, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We are currently judging our Duroc sows here with juniors in the main arena, so I encourage you to take a seat and watch as we continue our judging. In the arena at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, we have one of our exhibits for class 219. This is a Duroc sow, ladies and gentlemen, a junior, under 5 months of age. Now, after this class, ladies and gentlemen, we will be moving on to our Duroc Junior Champion sow and Reserve Junior Champion USA classes. And that's where the winners of the previous couple of classes will be competing to find out which pig is the better of the group. After that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to judging the supreme exhibit of our Durocs. This is where we'll bring back out the champion Duroc ball. Then we'll compete against the champion Duroc sow, which is soon to be decided. From there, we'll be awarding the prestigious award of the supreme Duroc exhibit. After that, ladies and gentlemen, we will be moving on to a new breed. The breed after that will be our Landrace pigs, ladies and gentlemen. So that'll look a lot more familiar to some of these orange-coloured pigs. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So first place has been awarded to entry number 66, exhibited by Gumshoe Orc. And this is where it gets challenging, ladies and gentlemen, is now we bring back the winners from the previous classes. And we will now be competing for our Duroc Junior Champion sow, as well as our Reserve Junior Champion sow. The winner of our Duroc Junior Champion sow will also be our Duroc Champion sow. We did not have any senior entries. The champion sow, ladies and gentlemen, will then compete with the champion board. And that'll give us the Supreme Exhibit Duroc, a very prestigious award here in the Easter Show. And it's going to be quite a tough competition. So we're now bringing back in the winners from each of the different categories, ladies and gentlemen, our Duroc Junior sows. So these are all very high quality examples of the sows in their age classes. So I'll walk around now and you'll get to have a look. These Durocs are an orangey brown colour with floppy ears, very intelligent animals. And some of them have quite a bit of energy as well, so you'll get to see them run around our main arena here. I'm going to take a seat as we shortly crown our Duroc Junior Champion sow, Champion sow Reserve Champion. So for those of you who have just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, all of these pigs were first place in their respective classes. And they're now being judged to determine out of these pigs which one is the champion. Now the Durocs, ladies and gentlemen, were originated in the USA. The current Australian Duroc lines were imported in 1981 from Canada and New Zealand. They're commonly used in crossbreeding programs, such as a terminal sire when crossed with a large white Landrace sow. They're generally valued for their growth rate and meat quality rather than their ability of mothering. So for those of you who have just joined us, we're currently judging for our Duroc Champion sow, as well as our Reserve Junior Champion Duroc sow. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging our Duroc sows here in the main arena. I encourage you to come and take a seat as you watch our judge work through the champion here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll shortly be crowning the champion Duroc sow. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. So the reserve champion, Duroc Sow, has been awarded to number 66, exhibited by Gumship Hall. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Junior Champion Sow and our Duroc Champion Sow is number 64, exhibited by Jubilee's Free Range Board. Congratulations. We're now going to move on to the Supreme Exhibit, judging the Duroc, ladies and gentlemen. So this is where our Champion Sow, number 64, that was just awarded, will compete against our Champion Board. Now, the Supreme Exhibit Award, ladies and gentlemen, is quite prestigious here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. Every ribbon, in fact, has real commercial value, and it assists with choosing which genetic lines to continue with. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that have only just joined us, we've now reintroduced our champion board in the arena, entry number 62. This is where our junior champion, our champion, I should say, and our champion sow competing for Supreme Exhibit in the Duroc breed category. So for those of you who have just joined us, you're currently in the Paddington Pavilion, our Pig and Goat Pavilion. And we're currently judging for our Supreme Exhibit of the Duroc breed class. Now both of these exhibits, ladies and gentlemen, have won not only their class, but also then the junior class and the champion class to now be competing for the Supreme Exhibit. Both of these pigs are Durocs, ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell by the red colour and the floppy ears. And they're quite keen to meet one another, as you can see as well. So our handlers are doing a great job there, keeping them separated. So we're now crowning the Supreme Exhibit, ladies and gentlemen, in our Duroc breed. So for those of you just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about to award the Supreme Exhibit breed. And it has been awarded to the champion sow. So our Supreme Exhibit is entry number 64, exhibited by Jubilee's Free Range Board, exhibiting Nancy R283. We'll shortly be moving on to our Landrace judging, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Durocs that you currently see in the arena, and the sow that's currently in the ring is our Supreme Duroc Exhibit.
Well, some lovely Durocs again, as in the other breeds. But my champion, she just stood out for me. The ball was very nice, but she just had that edge. Some lovely pigs coming to everyone.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So right now we're just taking a photo with exhibit number 64, which was Jubilee's Free Range Board Nancy. Currently our Supreme Exhibit in our Duroc category. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. I hope you're enjoying your time at the Easter Show this year. I encourage you to take a seat, as we're now moving on to the judging of our Landrace pigs. Our Landrace pigs, ladies and gentlemen, will look a lot different to the Duroc that's currently in the arena, as you may already notice. There's a few of them already penned up in the back of the main arena. We'll be commencing, ladies and gentlemen, our Landrace judging with our ball classes. Our first ball class will be class 405, Landrace ball, 7 months or older, but under 9 months. We have one entry for that class, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So we're now commencing the judging on our Landrace pigs. So you can see these pigs are quite different in colour to the pig you saw a moment ago. This is class 405, Landrace 4, 7 months or older, but under 9 months of age. So for those of you just joining us, you're currently in the Paddington Pavilion. This is our pavilion here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. We've just commenced judging our Landrace pigs. Now the Landrace pigs, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, are white in colour, and they have the floppy ears. The Landrace was originally developed in Denmark and imported into Australia from 1959 until 1973. And when they were imported, most of them were coming via New Zealand and the United Kingdom. Now these pigs are identifiable against a pig that looks very similar, the large white, by the fact that they have floppy ears. Now these are very popular in commercial pork production, these Landrace pigs. They're known for their long bodies and their high quality meat. So for those of you who have just joined us, we are currently judging class 405, our Landrace bull, 7 months or older, but under 9 months. First place, ladies and gentlemen, for this class has been awarded to entry number 108, exhibited by Gumshear Pork. We're now moving on to class 407, which is our Landrace bull under 5 months. So what you'll notice, ladies and gentlemen, when we do change these pigs over, is that the pig that come out soon should be smaller than the one that is currently in the arena, as it'll be under 5 months old. And here you go, ladies and gentlemen. So there's it's class 407 now, Landrace bull under 5 months. Now we've got one entry for this one here, ladies and gentlemen. So you can see this pig is on to judging for our Landrace champion bull and our Landrace junior reserve champion. So that's where the bull that was out here earlier will compete with the bull that's currently in the arena to determine which bull is of highest quality of the day. So for those of you just joining us, we're currently judging the Landrace bulls. At the conclusion of the Landrace bulls, we will move on to the Landrace sows, where we have a couple of entries there for us to judge. And first place, ladies and gentlemen, has been awarded to exhibit number 111 of Rumour Enterprises. Congratulations. We're now moving on to our Landrace champion bull. So that's where the bull that's currently in the arena will compete with the bull that won the previous class, 405, to determine which one is our Landrace champion bull and junior reserve champion bull. So for those of you just joining us, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging for our Landrace champion bull. For those of you just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging our Landrace champion bull. So both of these bulls, ladies and gentlemen, have just won first place in their respective classes and are now competing to see which Landrace bull will win over the other. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So our champion Landrace ball has been awarded to entry number 108, exhibited by Gumshoe Pork, exhibiting Gumshoe Lakekeeper. Reserve junior champion went to entry number 111, Aurora Enterprises, exhibiting Aurora Rank. We're now going to move on to our sow classes of our Landrace, ladies and gentlemen. So these are our boys. We're now going to bring out the girls, our young sows. We do have a few senior entries for our Landrace sows. So we're now commencing at class 411 Landrace sow, 12 months and older, in milk with her litter of pigs. Minimum of 2 weeks old and under 6 weeks old at date of judging. Now this class, ladies and gentlemen, will most likely be judged in the end, but we will see. On the conclusion of 411, we'll be moving to 412, which will be our Landrace sow dry, 18 months or older, which has reared a litter, for which we have 3 entries. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging our Landrace senior sow classes at present. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have just joined us, we're currently judging our Landrace senior sow classes. This class, ladies and gentlemen, is class 412, our Landrace sow dry, 18 months and older, which has reared a litter. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging for our Landrace senior sow. Currently judging class 412, Landrace sow dry, 18 months and older, which has reared a litter. There's 3 entries in this class, ladies and gentlemen, here as you can see now. They're all the Landrace breeds, so they're all white in colour with the floppy ears. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the first pigs arrived in Australia with the first fleet in 1788. 32 pigs were picked up in Cape Town for the 8-week journey to Botany Bay. Now, many of those pigs, when they arrived, escaped or were deliberately let loose. And by 1795, wandering pigs had already become enough of a nuisance that measures were being taken against them. Those pigs that were kept safely were then used for breeding and feeding the settlers. The first domestic breeds were primarily Berkshire large white timber. Commercial pig farming began in the 1800s as small family operations. The industry transformed into a modern sector following World War II. And the Australian pork industry, ladies and gentlemen, is now valued at approximately $1.6 billion in 2026. There's over 4,700 registered pig production sites in Australia in 2025, with around 285,000 sows in the national herd. So pig production is a very important part of the Australian economy and food production, ladies and gentlemen. However, about 3/4 of pork used in Australian canned bacon and small goods is sourced from overseas. This is why domestic breed quality, the work of exhibitors at shows like this matters so much. It's important when you're buying pork at the shops, ladies and gentlemen, to look for that Australian pork logo to know that you are getting the highest quality pork that we have here in Australia. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. For those of you just joining us, we're currently judging in the main arena, class 412, our Landrace Sow Drive, 18 months and older, which has arena litter. There are 3 entries, as you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, for our Landrace Sows. We'll shortly be awarding the ribbons for these exhibits, ladies and gentlemen. 3 great examples of a Landrace Sow. These are all senior sows, ladies and gentlemen, meaning that they're older than 12 months, being their classes 18 months plus. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. So the winner of class 412 has gone to 114, exhibited by Gumshoe Moore, exhibited by Gumshoe Allison. Congratulations to our junior handler. Second place has now been awarded as well. Second place went to 115 Timber Partnership. Congratulations. We're now going to move on to our Landrace Senior Champion Sow and Senior Reserve Champion Sow, ladies and gentlemen. It's important to note that currently we do have another class, 412. That's our pig that has the litter of piglets, the sow that's 12 months or older, in milk with a litter of pigs. She was the default winner of her class, so the judge will surely be leaving the ring to judge that pig in his pen. Then she'll be returning to award the ribbons for Landrace Senior Champion Sow and Landrace Senior Reserve Champion Sow. So this competition will now be between the sow with the piglets, who's currently in her pen. So you can see our judge being there now to make her assessment of that pig. And the winner of class 412. So whilst we're waiting, ladies and gentlemen, you can have a look at the Landrace pigs that are currently in the main arena. These are 3 great examples of the Landrace breed. They're all senior sows, 18 months and older, that have a litter. After the judging of these pigs, ladies and gentlemen, and after awarding these senior champion ribbons, we will be moving on to our junior champion sows. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We are currently judging our Landrace Senior Champion Sow and Senior Reserve Champion Sow. Our judge is currently outside of the arena assessing the pig with the piglets, which is the entry for class 411. It should be assessed against the pig that just won her class, our Senior Sow, competing for Senior Champion Sow, as well as our Reserve Senior Champion Sow. So ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have just joined us, we're currently judging our Landrace Senior Champion Sow. In the arena at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a Landrace. The Landrace was originally developed in Denmark, believe it or not. They were imported to Australia from 1959 to 1973. Most of them come to Australia via New Zealand and Great Britain. So we're now going to award the ribbons, ladies and gentlemen, for our Senior Champion Sow and Senior Reserve Champion Sow. Keeping in mind that one of those pigs was its pen, given that it does have a litter of piglets. If you'd like to see those piglets, you can by roaming around our pig shed. We do have a couple of things with piglets in the shed this year, so I'd like to encourage you to walk around and have a look at our piglets. We'll now be awarding the ribbons here for our senior champion, Sal. So for those of you just joining us here at the Paddington Pavilion, first of all, welcome. We're currently just judging our Landrace senior champion, Sal, and reserve senior champion, Sal. Our judge, Ms. Tracy Bretherton from the United Kingdom, is currently making her decision on both of these animals. Judging the champion classes can be quite difficult, given that both of the animals are of such high quality with very little faults. If you've only just joined us, ladies and gentlemen, in our Paddington Pavilion, I'd like to invite you to take a seat while we continue the judging of our champion, senior Landrace Sal. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So the winner of the Landrace Senior Champion Sal has been awarded to entry number 114, Gunship Ball. That makes our Landrace Senior Reserve Champion Sal, the Sal without piglets, exhibit number 113, exhibited by 10 Bar Partnership. We're now going to move on to class 416, ladies and gentlemen. These are our junior sows. So junior sow meaning that the sow is under 12 months of age. And this specific class, ladies and gentlemen, means that the sow is at least 9 months old, but under 12 months. You'll shortly see two entries into the arena, ladies and gentlemen. Both will be smaller than our senior sow that is out here at present. And they'll be competing in class 416. So for those of you just joining us, we're currently judging our junior sows here in our Landrace breed category. So ladies and gentlemen, you'll see we have two entries for our Landrace junior sow. Our junior sows will be older than 9 months and under the age of 12 months. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. So both entries are now in the arena. These are our junior not yet, champions in the arena, currently being judged. Pleased to announce that Miss Tracy Bretherton of the United Kingdom has been appointed as the 2026 Sydney Royal Show Big Judge. Tracy comes to Sydney Royal highly recommended and is widely regarded as a dedicated, influential contributor within the British Pig Association. She's been an active member of the British Pig Association for many years, with leadership roles across the association, including the Conservation Committee, the Pork and Education Committee, and a seat on the BPA Council. The contribution to youth development is equally significant, having formed and coordinated the Junior Pork Club in the United Kingdom, an award-winning program that has played a major role in encouraging and educating young people within the pig sector. Tracy is a BPA accredited British pig judge, approved to officiate multiple breeds and interbreed classes, as confirmed by her inclusion on both the BPA's interbreed judges list and modern breeds judges list. Tracy is highly knowledgeable, widely respected and experienced. We're very lucky to have her here at our 2026 Royal Easter Show. For those of you just joining us, we're currently watching the judging of our class 416 Landrace sow, older than 9 months, under 12 months. I'd like to invite you to take a seat in the arena as we continue the judging of our Landrace pigs. So ladies and gentlemen, for those of you just joining us here in the Paddington Pavilion, we're currently judging Landrace invite you to take a seat in the stands as we continue our judging here today. It's very important these type of shows, ladies and gentlemen, especially the Sydney Royal Pig Show. It's a very prestigious competition. So for those of you just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're about to award the ribbons for class 416, our Landrace sow 9 months and older and under 12 months. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So the winner of class 416, Landrace sow, 9 months and under 12 months, has been awarded to Timber Partnership. Congratulations. So for those of you just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, class 416, Landrace sow, 9 months and under 12 months, has been awarded to entry number 117, exhibited by Timber Partnership, with second place also going to Timber Partnership, exhibiting 118. Now moving on to class 418, ladies and gentlemen, lots of numbers. Landrace sow, 5 months older and under 7 months. So what that effectively means, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are just joining us, is that the sow that is about to enter the arena is a junior sow, so we're competing in junior under 12 months competition. And this sow should be between the ages of 5 months, however not longer than 7 months. Now, there's a lot of energy in these pigs, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see. Just having a great old time being out here, introducing myself to all of you. Those of you just joining us, this is our class 418 Landrace sow. And there we go, first place has been awarded to entry number 119, exhibited by Timber Partnership. We're now moving on to class 419, our Landrace sow under 5 months. We've got 2 entries in this next class, ladies and gentlemen, before we move into judging the Junior Champion sow. Now, the Junior Champion sow is where the winners of these previous classes will be competing together to determine which Landrace Junior sow is of highest quality before we move on to the Landrace Champion sow. So we'll have 2 entries, ladies and gentlemen, for our under 5 months. So these are both Landrace sows. For those of you just joining us, they originated in Denmark, mostly imported a few decades ago through New Zealand and Great Britain. Now, biosecurity here, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the biggest things in our Australian pig industry. It's one of our most important issues. And the reason we have such tight biosecurity is to keep out overseas diseases. So, for example, African swine fever has devastated many pig herds across Asia and parts of Europe. And by having tight biosecurity, our Australian pork genetics remain some of the highest quality in the entire world. For example, we keep track of everything when it comes to biosecurity, so each pig that's here at the moment must have a pig pass national vendor declaration. This ensures that if there was an outbreak of the disease here at the Easter Show that we're not aware of, we'd be able to track exactly where each one of these animals has been and how they've gone through. Now, some fun facts, ladies and gentlemen, is pigs are highly intelligent and they have a cognitive ability similar to that of dogs. They have exceptional memories and can solve complex problems. They also have an exceptional sense of smell, which is why they use their snouts, ladies and gentlemen, to work their way around the room, as you can see. So we're now awarding the ribbons, ladies and gentlemen, for class 419 at Landrace sow under 5 months. those of you just joining us, welcome to the Paddington Pavilion. We're currently judging our Landrace junior sales here. These are all the 5 months. Glad to be sales, ladies and gentlemen. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Ribbons have now been awarded. So for class 419, our Landrace sale under 5 months. First place has gone to entry number 121. Enterprises, congratulations. Second place has gone to exhibit 122, exhibited by Gumshoe Hawk.